Have you ever wondered how difficult it would be to survive a zombie apocalypse? As an American, all they have are guns, 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 couple guns. Needless to say, if you were an American, it'd be difficult to make it out in the world. But how difficult? Very difficult, that's how. Well, the best way to test that would be to play quite possibly the most realistic zombie apocalypse simulation game, while only being able to use guns. Very quick double disclaimer and quick little summary of the challenge. Disclaimer 1. I used an increase ammo drops mod. This may sound cheap or maybe even bullshit in your opinion, but I'll explain why in the second disclaimer. Disclaimer 2. I attempted a total of 17 fucking times, with one of them being actually successful. Until the footage got deleted on accident. Now you may wonder how exactly could I be successful on this challenge, cause there's no real end to Project Zomboid. Well, originally this challenge was to, quite simply, survive until the first drop of snow. But that was way too difficult, so this time the challenge is different. Travel across Knox Country, the name of where Project Zomboid takes place, to every big POI infested area, and take one safe and full sleep. And no, I can't just sneak into a home, have a nice interrupted sleep and leave, cause I'm a goddamn American! With 7 big areas to have to go through, half of which not having a gun store of any sorts, some fucking American country this is, the battle for ammo, despite having just about double the usual amount, is debatably tougher than it should be. Especially when we reach the city. With that being said, enjoy part 1 of the most American road trip imaginable. Of course we must play as the most American man possible, and I had a couple ideas, but then I pressed the randomize once and got Jesus Christ, it's Jesus Christ! Now what quirks would Jesus have? Well, he'd obviously be a thief, he'd rarely eat considering he survived quite a long time off of plain white bread, and he'd probably be good at this other stuff. Now as far as the bad stuff, he'd obviously be very frail, I don't think he was that buff in the Bible, and he'd probably drink a lot more considering he could turn water into goddamn wine.
Walter. Put your dick away, Walter. I'm not having sex with you right now, Walter.
Final disclaimer, I did cheat a bit to set spawn location and give me a hammer and screwdriver. But that is all the cheating I did. After this, I disabled cheat, whatever it's called, and it's just pure vanilla from here on out. Now we spawned in the middle of nowhere, here, and not just for the bar, but for the military surplus store, which, as you'd imagine, had a couple guns and plenty of ammunition. It also had this like really rare backpack, which is pretty cool and the best backpack in the game, so that definitely helped. Since we're in reality not supposed to spawn here, there are a lot of zombies outside, but Jesus Christ came prepared. And I meant that. Well, that sure was something. Now that Jesus, murdered well over 100 zombies, who might have been people, they were talking like normal people, that is step 1 of our long road trip done. Now for step 2 out of like 1,000. Get a car that can carry as much ammunition, food, water, and booze as possible. They are all necessary components for surviving a zombie apocalypse. Thankfully, after only 100 more zombie kills, we find a gas station that would supply more than enough food for the road trip. After that, we had to find a car, which became much more of a problem than it had to be. It may be out of gas. Thankfully, there's plenty of unowned cars out in the world. Sadly, this one was also out of gas. Where did all those bodies come from? But thankfully, we don't leave this specific parking lot fully empty-handed, for we do get quite a lot of fun juice. After a little bit of searching, we do find a car with some gasoline in it that we are able to borrow from the previous owners, which allows us to fill up one of the seats with food, another with weaponry, another with ammunition, and the trunk filled to the brim with an assortment of definitely not bourbon and wine. And so now the road trip can truly begin, with decently leveled aiming plus shooting and a very good kill count. Also, here's a quick little summary of what I have in my inventory. I dump a lot of this later on, but just for those curious on how much stuff I have, here you go. After not too long of a road trip, we make it to our first place that we have to sleep at, this place, and it starts off very not good, because I have to grab and unpack all of my shotgun ammo because I didn't realize I boxed all of it up. I end up parking in a hayfield and dropping a lot of my stuff, but eventually I turn my red baseball cap backwards, which could only mean it's time to kill half a town. Another day for Jesus Christ, am I right, fellas? I looted the gas station and went to take a well-deserved sleep to check off the first area, but then something caught my eye. A JS-2000 equipped with a choke tube. To people who haven't played this game a lot, this may seem like nothing to get excited about, but the slight increase to damage on the JS2000 is actually quite a lot of the time pretty big due to how zombies shot by JS2000 normally, 9 times out of 10, live on 1 HP. But with the choke tube, it instead kills said zombies in one shot, saving a lot of ammo in the long run. Now, the range down does kind of suck, but on the shotgun, it really doesn't matter. With the sleep done, we are back on the road with 1 checkmark complete. Yeah! Yippee! Hooray! That kill didn't count. Honestly, everything was going really well, and I was under firm belief that Jesus Christ got this challenge in the bag. Shit. We may have been stuck in the middle of nowhere, but thankfully it wasn't too long of a walk to the next town. I grabbed all of the essentials, trust me the beer was essential, and then started to make the long walk. I made my way to town, and all I really wanted to do was sleep and borrow a new car, but then I realized this town was full of atheists. And Jesus isn't a fan of atheists. So Jesus takes a bottle of beer, screams America's name, and goes wild. Jesus finds some new clothes, thinks about America, then goes take his next sleep, crossing off another area. Yeah! Yippee! Hooray! We find a car, hotwire it, and make our way back to the old cut. I forgot to bring gasoline with me. Well, that certainly sucks, doesn't it? Maybe this screw-up will result in Jesus' second death. Maybe this will result in Jesus' second miracle. Maybe he made... I don't know if he's made more miracles than that. We may never know until part 2 of Project Zomboid Gun Only is made.